Mike Ogwalu III is the Chief Executive Officer at Verve International. He is the one you can describe as knowing the entire DNA of the banking system and digital payment system in Nigeria. Of course, he spent most of his active life work. Well, he's still active, by the way. So working in at least about 6 commercial banks where you don't see him at the front desk. He's always at the back end where he's working out the card, the ICT, and IT, and what have you. So I'm bringing him on the show this morning to be part of the 10th anniversary of Verve International and to say congratulations for their footprints on Wall Street. That was just a few months ago. Good morning, Mike. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
10 years in this environment, they say if you're a startup, whatever, if you survive the first 5 years, then you're good to go for the next.
Absolutely. Nigeria has been very interesting for us, and we set out, we did say that Nigeria would be at the center of our dreams, our aspirations, and now Africa is at the center of our dreams and aspirations.
Where did all these inspirations come from? You spent many years in the banking system, so I'm sure from First Bank to UBA to EcoBank, I'm sure you must have been sitting down with the systems and be looking, look, there are a lot of things to fix in the Nigerian system, and fintech would be the way to go.
Actually, I was on the banking side. I wasn't the founding CEO of Verve. However, I took over Verve about 2 years ago, and standing in the footsteps of some brilliant chaps who had bettered the company and taken it this far. Now our vision is to take Verve and move it across Africa and actually take a piece of Nigeria to the rest of the world.
So they made a good decision by pulling you from I said, this guy who knows the DNA. We better bring him here because the future is digital. In every sense, from television, from what we do here in the studios, to everywhere, it's about digitalization.
Absolutely. And I'll just give an illustration to tell you how everything has become digital. I recently saw my son swiping his hand on the big TV in the sitting room, and I asked him what he was doing, and he said to me, how come such a big screen is not able to respond to my touch? You know, so everything is becoming digital. The children and the population that we are building products for, the citizens of the future will be digital. So everything has to be digital. Payments, of course, naturally has to be digital because payments is what makes every other thing to work in an economy. So yes, everything is getting digital. We, Verve started about 10 years ago, and just to give you a picture of how far we've come, Verve started 10 years ago, fully EMV. We came in to introduce a product that's just as secure as you would find anywhere in the world, okay? And that was a truly Nigerian brand, okay? And we issue as debit today and as prepaid, and we do both physical and virtual cards. But we have now taken our lessons and the things that we've learned here in Nigeria, and today we issue in 12 countries across Africa, and we're accepted in 23 countries across Africa. Then recently, in celebration of our 10th anniversary, we have done a partnership with Discover, which we launched in New York. What that does is it opens Verve up to acceptance in over 185 countries around the world. So basically, like I said, we want to be able to show that Nigeria can create something that actually can stand toe-to-toe with all the global players. So today...
Because the competition is out there from the developed market for Verve.
Absolutely. And again, looking at our Nigerian market, we've had to compete with some really big players, okay, who have more international experience, have deeper pockets than us. But then within our organization, what I always say to them is, you cannot be taller than me and be shorter than me at the same time. Okay.
You got to pick one.
So
then I have to pick your competition.
Absolutely. So they know international market, we know Africa, we know Nigeria. So that's our leading edge.
I like that. And this all plays into the financial regulators, financial inclusion, a mantra. How much have Verve, how much have you contributed to this financial inclusion, financial deepening over the last decade?
Okay, so again, prior to Verve, we had these international players who, from a cost point of view, were a bit too expensive. What that meant was the banks could only offer the products at a certain level. The market couldn't deepen. So what we did was we came in with exactly the same type of product, okay, into the same market, and we brought it at a price point that Nigerians could afford. So we made it more affordable for the banks to put those cards in the hands of the consumers. And in doing that, we've actually been able to deepen this market in terms of payments. If you go back some years ago, you know, before the advent of the EMV cards, we had the offline cards, okay, which we had in those days, and there were just about 500,000 or so of them, okay? Then the international players came in. We launched a Max Stripe card, which had its own attendant challenges. But then in 2009, in response to the mandate by the central bank, we introduced our EMV card program. And today, we own about 42% market share in this market. And again, I'm not going to postulate as to what the size of the shares of the other international players are. But then this is our market. We understand this market very well.
You've beaten 42% already.
Exactly.
You don't mind biting more?
We will certainly bite more, okay? so we have come in with a lower cost product. We've come in with the same levels of security standards. Indeed, I say here that we actually have our fraud levels are probably the lowest in the market.
Which is a primary concern for the consumers.
Absolutely.
Security of my card is number one.
Absolutely.
Not even the amount on it.
Absolutely.
but that card is safe.
Absolutely.
That the back end is strong. The firewalls are very strong.
And then, so beyond even all of that in terms of, because everybody wants to know, people don't celebrate you for being secure. They expect it, okay? But beyond that security and so on, we try to make sure that, first of all, our acceptance touch points are all over the place. We have 100% acceptance across the country, okay? And what we've done additionally is to tie different rewards and discounts, which more or less help our consumers to get a bit more when they transact, okay?
I love that. Is that in tune with the 10th anniversary?
So we've done that over the years, but then we're actually doing something even much more with the 10th anniversary. So a number of things are happening. One of them is that we've done a partnership with Oando, and in a number of their filling stations, if you buy petrol up to 3,000 naira, you get 5 extra liters. You know, and we think that it's a way of also giving back to Nigeria that has given us so much, really. We've also done a number of supermarkets, including Spa, across the country. The 10th person that makes a payment with a Verve card gets a gift card of 10,000 naira.
I thought you weren't going to mention the petrol station, because now everybody has heard it, because I'm running on red already by the time I go to the office because of the vehicleness now. So I was thinking, now that you've mentioned it, that extra 5 liters, I'm just going to do that after the show.
Absolutely.
I need that 5 extra. I can use 5 extra. Everybody on the street can use that.
Yeah.
But doing business in the Nigerian environment has been a tough one. It's on front. It's no longer news, as it were. So how have you been able to, infrastructure, costs and all of that, how have you been able to make money and break through and be impactful within the Nigeria's economy overall, not just on Broad Street or financial system alone, over a 10-year period?
It's been, if I said to you that it was easy, I would be lying. It was tough, but then the market rewards you for solving problems. And we try to solve a number of those problems. So for example, when we came into the market, our competition had a way of saying that, oh, okay, these are principal members, these are associate members. We came in and we said, everybody come inside. So you have banks as big as First Bank, as big as Access Bank, UBA, issuing our cards. But you have the small microfinance bank also being able to issue our cards. Secondly, we again looked at the spending patterns of Nigerians. So if you take someone that belongs in a lower segment, a mass market segment, who today is battling with whether he will be paid 30,000 naira minimum wage. If you give him a certain type of product, it will be too expensive. And what would happen is the banks will have to subsidize the money that they are losing at the lower end with the money they are making at the upper end. So what we did was we helped the banks to segment their customer base and made sure that the right product was being put in the hands of the customers. And in that way, the banks were able to lower their costs, okay? We also have been able to, we built our systems end to end. So we have been able to create multiple points where we are able to manage our costs from, and therefore, when we manage our costs, do things, make sure the right people are using our product, make sure that our acceptance is ubiquitous and everything, then we are able to actually make sure that we grow in the market. So it's win-win for everybody. It's win-win for the bank, whose cost of using the scheme is lower, is a win for the consumer because now the banks now see that they can serve that man at the bottom, okay? And it's a win for us as Verve.
Consumers are still complaining about charges and fees with this fintech and digital revolution that we are in.
Yes.
What do you say to that?
So I don't know of many businesses that you do and you started in, say, 2002, and the price you offered that product or that service in 2002, is much higher than what you offer it today. Okay, so over the last, consider inflation, consider all of the things that have put pressures,
exchange rate and all of that.
Exchange rate and so on, and yet we are much cheaper to the consumer than we were back in 2002. So, and again, if you go across Africa and you look at the different markets, you look at pricing per transaction, different types of transactions, you'll find that Nigeria is about the lowest in the continent. So I agree that we have a huge population and therefore it will allow us to be able to lower cost. And the central bank has done a lot in terms of helping to moderate prices and actually to lower prices. So it's a service, okay, and it costs money to put them in place.
Tell me about the future of Verve. What are you guys working on? Yes, you are at Times Square. So where else are you going? You're going to Sochi in Russia? Or you go to Frankfurt?
So again, payments continues to evolve. Payments from the Mandela's days to the coins, to the notes, to the card, okay? We have a vision that cards, will be beyond just what you have. It will be about what you know. And so today we have physical cards, but then we have virtual cards as well. We are looking at a future where payment tokens will be embedded in cars. A car should be able to book and order a service. It should be embedded in diesel tanks. A diesel tank should be able to know when it's running low and be able to order diesel. So you are going to begin to see Verve beyond that physical card, but being embedded into our everyday lives, okay? So Internet of Things and so on. We will certainly continue to go our expansion. The problems of Africa, they are similar. We think that the problem that we solved here in Nigeria, we can also solve in a number of other countries. We will continue to expand our acceptance, to make sure that people who get issued our cards today will be able to use it anywhere they find themselves. On Friday, we will be launching our partnership with Gibbs in Ghana. Gibbs is the equivalent of NIBS, the Ghana Interbank Payment Settlement System. So we have done a net-to-net integration with Gibbs, okay, which we'll be turning on. So as Nigerians travel across the border to Ghana, you know, using their Verve cards becomes a lot more easy. Acceptance becomes much more ubiquitous, you know. So I would say there's a lot to expect of us.
Yeah.
We are happy. I mean, when we launched in New York, I think one of the most exciting things was we were sitting in an elevated restaurant, and we had Verve all over the billboards. And we could look down. Yes, we looked down from where we were, and we saw this gathering of, you know, people that we assumed are Nigerians. You know, and that pride of just looking up on the screen and seeing a Nigerian brand.
The big neon sign on Times Square opposite NASDAQ.
It was
quite elevating for you.
It was very humbling for us, yes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Thank you. Maybe that's why you chose the name Verve International, even before you were still Nigerian.
Thank you very much.
What's in the name? A lot in the name.
So, yeah,
thank you.
Verve means energetic, lively, youthful. You know, so there's this Verve spirit, and we already know that the consumers of the future are the young people of today. So we're still young.
We're still young. We're still young. You got a son, I got a son too. So let's keep swiping. Thank you. Have a great day. And thank you and congratulations
Thank you
as you go to Ghana.
Thank you very much.